We're here in Hampton, Virginia for round 7 of the Z-Max Cars Tour. It was a night full of challenging weather and challenging racing. And with everything thrown at the tour, you would think the juggernauts of JRM and KHI would capitalize. But DW's old adage, don't beat yourself, rang ever true tonight, and one of the mighty mouses of the Cars Tour took home the victory. Rest in peace, Sean. Who would have thought with NASA across the street and the Air Force Base down the road that all the action would be right here on the grounds of Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. On tour from Langley starts right now. Everyone wants to be there on Sunday, but as every short tracker will tell you, there is no Sunday without Saturday night. And every week, all across the nation, late models own Saturday night. This is the ballad of the sport's backbone, its hometown, its weekly star, and its greatest racing. This is Saturday night. This is On Tour. Welcome back to On Tour. My name is Buddy Pulley. I head up the late model coverage here on ATYL Media, and just for good measure, this is Saturday night. It was a big weekend of late model action, kicked off Thursday night by the Battle at Broadway 150 at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. The race is co-sanctioned by the JEG CARA All-Star Tour and the Nashville Pro Late Model Division. The annual kickoff to NASCAR weekend saw Cup Series winner Josh Berry cross the line first, but he was later disqualified for not meeting left side weight, handing the win over to Trey Craig for the second year in a row. The Cars Tour West was in action Saturday, where for the first time ever, Kevin and Keelan Harvick would compete against one another. And of course, the first matchup for the two would take place at Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway in Kevin's hometown of Bakersfield, California. So, Harvick versus Harvick. Who will win? The 12-year-old Phenom or the 49-year-old Cup Series and Daytona 500 champion? Well, both of them actually, as the 150 laps was split up into two 75-lap races where Kevin took race 1, and after Kevin was taken out of race 2, Keelan Harvick in classic closer fashion would take the win there. And for completely, totally unbiased reasons, this race where two Harvicks took victory will play in my house on repeat for all of eternity. And you could do the same because the race was uploaded in full on Floy Racing's YouTube page. Moving on to our main event, and if you thought Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway was a mouthful, the Cars Late Model Stock Division was at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Larry King Law does not pay me, so we're going to call it by the name its mama gave it, Langley Speedway. And as you heard in the intro, we had some challenging weather. Off and on rain showers halted practice, qualifying, and even gave us an impromptu halfway break. But in between all the rain, we did see a great night of racing, capped off by a first-time winner in Chase Burrow. Everybody give a round of applause to Chase. We'll talk to him in a minute, but first, let's take a look at the results from Hampton, Virginia. Taking a look at the results from the Visit Hampton, Virginia 125 at Langley Speedway, it was hometown boy Chase Burrow taking home the victory over Jared Fryer in his first race since winning at Orange County. He recovers from an early spin to finish runner-up. Local boy Matt Waltz finishes in the third position after starting from pole. Tristan McKee finishes fourth, and Chad McCumbee rounds out our top 5. A good points night for Ronnie Bassett Jr. He finishes 6th. Connor Hall, not the night he was looking for. He finishes in the 7th position. We'll talk to Connor later. Parker Eatmon finishes 8th, but not without some controversy with Connor Jones. We'll talk about that later for sure. And Buddy Alves Jr. with his second top 10 of the year. He finishes 9th. And Cade Brown sits 3rd in points. He rounds out our top 10. Some other notables, Connor Jones, of course, his issues with Parker Eatmon. Landon Huffman had some conflict of his own as he and Justin Carroll took turns spinning each other out. Here's what Huffman had to say about the incident.
Frustrating night. I mean, we weren't very good the whole time, about 7th to 12th, 7th to 10th, about where we ran the whole race, and got rough at the end. I mean, racing with the 91, I think he usually runs in the back pretty much most places he races, and he was up there around us, which should tell you kind of how bad our race car was. But tried to race him clean for like 5-10 laps, passing him. Ran side by side. He was crowding me on entry and stuff, which is fine. You know, it's racing. And so I got into him just a little bit, ran him up the track, got by him, and he bonsai'd me down here, ran over us, and then did it again in 3 and 4 and drove us way up the track. So I got back into him on exit, and him and 04 checked up. We turned him around, so that's on me. You know, I wasn't trying to wreck him or spin him out. I just wanted to get back to him and do what he did to me, or at least continue to move forward. At the end, I don't know. He just felt like, I guess I took a good solid 11th place run away from him. So at that point, he tried to wreck us for 3 straight laps and then had us picked up all the way down the front stretch for dead last and drove me down into 1. So I would say the Tour, needs to do something about that, but he won't run very many weeks, and he'll probably DNQ a truck race next week again.
Brandon Pierce, in his 100th Cars Tour start, had some choice words for Carson Lofton after getting spun out by the 22. Brandon Pierce finished in the 14th position, Carson Lofton in 17th. And championship implications. Landon Lewis was dominant early and looked as though he was on his way to a three-peat, but mechanical gremlins took him out of the race.
We had the parts failure. Something went wrong with the motor. I don't really know. We got to go back to the shop and see what happened. But we were battling it really from lap 5. Lap 5, it made an awful noise, and it just wasn't running right from there. And we did as long as we could to try to hold them off, and it was really good even with it, acting the way it was. So, again, the guys brought a really fast car. Just continue to work hard and just minimize the mistakes like we talked about before. Just can't have nights like these. I think we're 1 to 2 points still leading, so that's a good thing. But I don't know what it is about Langley, but it just doesn't like me. I qualified last year second, qualified second tonight, and didn't finish last year and didn't finish this year. So I don't know what it is, but we definitely set the tone for sure. And they knew we were here, but we'll keep pushing hard and keep moving forward.
Minnie Tyrell had a top 5 run going, but had a flat tire that had compounding effects on his day. He finishes 20th. If Andrew Grady didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. He gets caught up in a crash, finishing 22nd. And the same could be said about Lainey Bice, as she had an axle break early in the race. She finishes 23rd. With a best finish of 8th place this year, it seems as though this win came out of nowhere for Chase Burrow. But if you've really been paying attention, you've noticed that 0-0 has been getting quicker and quicker all season long, and Saturday night was just the perfect storm. No, literally, Chase credits the mid-race rain delay with aiding his charge to the front after Chase used his experience at his home track to maximize tire conservation. With cool, fresher tires, Burrow was able to take the fight to the 2 other Langley track heroes of Connor Hall and Matt Waltz, bring the hometown crowd to their feet, and score his first Cars Tour victory. I talked to Chase after the race about what it means to win on this stage and what's been the difference maker to get him to victory lane.
It's huge. I mean, to win here, it's home, but to win on this scale is huge. We run locally here, and it's tough. Even the local division is tough here. There's a lot of good guys here, and this racetrack's tough in itself. You got to race the racetrack, not everybody else, and that's what we did tonight. We raced the racetrack, raced our race, and it played out. And it's a huge deal for all of our guys, and everybody here. It's awesome. Man, we've been really close, and you call it bad luck, call it what it is. We haven't had the best luck for sure, and I think tonight it finally turned on us, and we had a good night and could work with what we had. We qualified up front, and that's always a plus, staying up front, and I don't know. It's just like I said, we've been good, not good enough to win, but we felt good enough to win. So to get it done, it's awesome.
While Burrow was celebrating his big win, pit road was hot. Battling inside the top 10, contact between Connor Jones and Parker Eatmon sparked a post-race altercation. Now, we don't have any footage of what happened on track, but we do have footage of what happened off track. This is Saturday night, and as they say, Saturday night's all right for fighting. Now, I did speak to both drivers after the Donnybrook on pit road to get an explanation as to what happened on track that had the two so hot under the collar.
I got past Connor, and then he kind of just drove in there way too deep over his head and moved me out of the way. So I waited till 2 to go, I think it was, and I got back to him, and I just drove it into his door, cleared myself, and finished 8th. But he wasn't too happy about it in the end, but it's all good. He does that shit all the time. So we'll move on to the next one in Dominion in 2 weeks and be good to go.
He drove into my left rear on into 1, And then I got him back right here. I popped him a little bit in the rear, just get him up the track, just say, hey, I don't really like what you did there because he hit me directly in the tire. Instead of just, if he lifted me up a little bit in the bumper, I'd have been like, okay, I'm in your way. But no, he just drove into my tire, overdrove the corner. I'm fed up with a couple people in the car store, and it's about my breaking point. Yeah, I went over there to talk to him and just like tell him I wasn't happy about it, and he grabbed me, so I was obviously I'm not gonna let that go.
Teammates a few weeks ago, rivals this week. Cars Tour, baby. Now, just as Langley is home to Chase Burrow, it's also home to Connor Hall. And when we come back from break, we'll talk to Connor Hall about his night and the crowd reception at his home track. The first 3 races of the year, Connor Hall boasted a 1.33 average finish. He could do no wrong. But in the last 3 races, well, to put it nicely, he's been up shit creek without a paddle. So even though a 7th place run is not something to ride home about, it's definitely nice to see Connor come home with a clean night.
It felt good to be competitive. I just wish that I would have done a little bit better job on my end and giving, I don't know what to call it, a better forecast of what I really came into today and was very sure of what I needed to win tonight. And man, I think these tires are just acting seem to act a little different on the long run than I'm accustomed to. And I was so used to the old tire. Last year the tires were very predictable, and then obviously before I was just, we all grew up. That's what we grew up racing on. So just had so much time on them, and I feel like I'm kind of having to rework just my brain a little bit. And we were definitely close. I mean, we were really good. I thought we were second or first place car all night, and just tried buying my time, getting through the field and saving a little bit. And once the opportunity presented itself, I made the move for the lead, and then I thought we were going to be gone, and then that yellow came out, and then that gave everybody the opportunity to really pester me and keep moving me up the hill. And it just got to a point where I had to defend for so long. I think I just got it on the right rear for probably 10-15 laps, and after that the last 25 laps felt like 250 laps. So I think 8 out of 10 my fault, just guessing wrong, and then 2 out of 10 just kind of positional / just kind of what the race offered. But usually you come here and it's just, it's a constant, it's just one day. It's just a clean cycle. And I just feel like this whole week leading up, there was piles of rain, no rain, hot, cold, just definitely all over. Like when we tested Thursday, it was cold. Yesterday it was hot as can be. It rained, got hot again, then rained. Now it's cold. Like I think that might have been a small part of it, but I definitely should have if I would have done a better job at forecasting, I would have at least had us way closer to the ballpark. And I don't think it's a big adjustment that we need to make, but I think it's just a sizable adjustment that will make a difference over 125 lap runs.
Now, Connor is very proud of his Virginia roots. He cut his teeth at Langley Speedway, from go-karts all the way to 2 national championships. So you'd think he'd have the full support of his hometown crowd. Au contraire. After Connor won this race last year in a 3-wide photo finish, they booed him relentlessly, comparing his hometown rival of Butterbean Queen to Dale Earnhardt Jr. and himself to Kyle Busch. Well, Connor drives for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and wouldn't you know it, the crowd, they've changed their tune.
Obviously, everybody loves Dale Jr. and Bass Pro Shops, so that's a big part of it. So obviously, it's an amazing opportunity I have to be a part of that family and organization, and it is a little different. I think I'd like to think that at least 1% of it is coming from maybe a little aging on my part and just kind of changing. I feel like my character a little bit, and from when I started racing out here, now 7-8 years ago. Probably a little rougher than I am now, and I just think I'm a little quicker to realize that it's not worth beating the doors off of it for ninth like I used to a bunch. And just, I don't know, I was over hungry back then. Now when you get a little older, you get a little wiser, and not much wiser, but I think just enough to, kind of get a little bit more respect out there.
With the 7th place run in the 29's troubles, Connor Hall has shrunk Lewis's lead down to just 2 points. Cade Brown sits in 3rd, 15 points out. Landon Huffman in 4th, 25 points back. And Ronnie Bassett Jr. rounds out our top 5, 36 points out of the lead. That's going to do it for this episode of On Tour. The next episode will follow the Cars Tour race at Dominion on June 14th. Follow us at the Buddy Pulley and at ATYL Media for all at the track coverage. Now, every week I ask you to go out and support your local short track. A couple weeks ago at Wilkesboro, I met my friends Blaze and Brian. They're a couple of good people that just love short track racing. And I'm pretty sure they've been at every late model race that at least I've covered in the past year. I wanted to give a shout out to them because that right there, that is supporting your local short track. Take after them, and we'll see you after Dominion.